Look at my fit, OOTD, from the one and only Ava the S.T.E.M princess. She's 11 years old, lives in North Carolina, and used her love of science and math to overcome her struggles with dyslexia. She also created an entire company, teaching others about STEM from schools to Whole Foods all the way to First Stop News. And she does it all in this fabulous coat.
I always wear my lab coat, and if you can see, it also has the American flag and my favorite, and it also has girl power. My also biggest inspiration is also NASA because I've always wanted to become an astronaut.
I have an amazing gift called dyslexia. That means I learn differently and I have to decode the words before I read them.
Can you tell me about why you started the Genius Squad?
I wanted to encourage other kids with dyslexia like me, and I realized that not a lot of kids are learning about STEM in their school system, so I also want to teach kids the importance of STEM. Even though you're learning something, it can also be fun. It doesn't have to be boring.
I think it's really, really inspirational that you shared your story and you've been vulnerable about it, especially because I'm sure so many young kids struggle with reading and might not know even how to speak up about it. You said it was difficult for you to read as a kid. So what did you do exactly?
The first thing I did was I told my mom, and the second thing I did was I got a tutor so I could get extra help. When I did baking, I read the words out loud.
I struggle with reading as well. I oftentimes read things out loud because it helps me even process them. So I always tell people, use that voice. Don't be afraid to open your mouth when you're reading. Let's move on to you being an entrepreneur, a business owner, all in your first 11 years of life. That is so incredible.
We go into underserved areas and we teach kids the importance of STEM because not a lot of schools are teaching kids STEM. Like my school, we didn't really learn anything about STEM until 5th grade.
How many different products do you actually have?
16 products, and I'm still developing more, like a new book and a plushie.
There has to be so much inspiration behind this. Who would you say is your biggest inspiration?
Well, my first inspiration was my mom. My second inspiration was my grandma. And my third inspiration was Dr. Mae Jameson, the first Black American woman to go to space. And she was in space for 8 days.
Yes, I love that.
The reason why my mom inspires me is because she works in the STEM field. My grandma also inspired me because she works in the STEM field too. And Dr. Mae Jameson inspires me too. She also works with NASA. And as you can see, it says NASA, because I've always wanted to become an astronaut.
Walk me through what you talk to students about. What would a typical Ava lesson look like?
I am going to show you step by step how to do the potato clock experiment.
I am excited.
Watch and be amazed what potatoes can get. We're going to turn this light on. And this can work with any fruit. So what happens is when copper and zinc is in the potato, a reaction occurs and electrolytes bounce back and forth. Then after that happens, the electrolyte goes into the alligator wire and goes from connection to connection to connection. That creates a current. So the clock is not on, but when we add it together, it's about to turn on.
Uh-oh.
And then you put these buttons and it changes the time. See if you can kind of see it changes. Before we connected this, it was a current. And then when we connected, it was a circuit. And that is why it's called a redox reaction.
I love it. Ava Domination coming next.